Welcome on MGSS YouTube channel. I am Nakan Misra with you to discuss some important facts regarding basics of geometry, and after that I will discuss quadrilateral and their types. Hope you have to enjoy this session and keep watching MGSS YouTube channel. Before starting it, I made you clear that you have already learned in the previous standard in class 7, 6 about different types of basics of geometry, in which you have learned about point, the concept of line, the concept of line segment, ray, plane, and open and closed figure. Several definitions you have already learned. You also learn about polygon. In this chapter, I have to start the concept again with the closed and open figure. My dear student, as you know that there are two types of figure. First one is two-dimensional figure. Second one is three-dimensional figure. Two-dimensional figure are generally, it can be defined on the basis of it has length as well as breadth, two dimensions. And such type of figure can easily be drawn on Cartesian plane, which is generally known as graph paper. You can easily draw such type of figure, and you did so several times. You know how to draw triangle on graph paper, quadrilateral on graph paper, pentagon, hexagon, octagon, and several polygon on this graph paper or Cartesian plane. You also drawn several types of regular and irregular figures on this Cartesian plane, but all those figures were two-dimensional figure. Regarding three-dimensional figure, that you know very well that three-dimensional figure having length, breadth, and height. Or height can be also be considered as thickness, which has length, width, and thickness. Such type of figure are considered as three-dimensional figure. For example, cube, cuboid, sphere, and several others are three-dimensional figure, and such figure cannot be drawn on this Cartesian plane. It is due to that this plane having only two dimensions, length and breadth, which is also known as width. Whatever, it doesn't having height. So, if you try to locate or represent such type of figure, then only we can do that two dimensions. We try to represent three-dimensional figure on two dimensions paper, and that is two-dimension representation of three-dimensional figure. So we can't see all the parts of it. We can't see. Only there are two dimensions. Face can be seen either from top or from sidewise. Their lateral faces we see. We can't see all these faces because we can represent only two of them. Three dimensions cannot be drawn or represent or express on two dimensions. So Cartesian plane is used to express two-dimensional figure. My dear, such figure can be classified into two categories. open and closed. What do you mean about open figure? Such figure which having different initial and final point. Suppose that I have just drawn a figure and you can classify it as it has been started with the concept of A and it will end with B. So it's a starting or initial point. First point you have to just keep in mind initial. And what is the meaning of initial? Initial means starting. Such point from where the figure has been drawn is known as starting or initial point. And this is here A is initial and B is final. You may reverse it. You may say that B is initial and A is final because it has note written on their forehead. I am a starting point. No, it is depend upon you that any one of them you can mention it is initial point and this is final. If A is initial, then B is final. If B is initial, then A is final one. So initial and final, if both are different, then such type of figure is known as open figure. And second one is that such type of figure in which open, initial and final, both points are in common. If both are common, then it is known as, you can just see that here A and if it is start with A, then it is also end with A. So any one of them, you can't divided initial and final point, my dear. This is not distinct. This is not different. And such type of figure in which these two are not distinct, such figure is known as closed figure. So this is closed figure and this is open figure. Also there is one category I have just mentioned. Describe two different 2D figure and 3D figure. Open figure and closed figure. One more ways you can explain, classify the figure in two categories: rectilinear figure and closed curved figure. And what is the meaning of rectilinear? Such figure which is straight, which is made up of straight line segment. Such figure is known as rectilinear figure. And you know that I have just drawn a rectangle, a triangle in this case. This figure is open. You may draw rectangle. Actually, these all figures are rectilinear figure. Why it is rectilinear? Because this is made up of a straight line segment. All such figures which are made up of straight line segments are known as rectilinear figure. If you discuss about the curved figure which is open and closed, you may write, actually, this is not rectilinear. Why? Because it is not made of a straight line segment. It is the curved one. So, this is known as curved figure. And in curve, it is also open because initial and final both are different. All such figure in which initial and final are distinct then it is known as open figure. And this is also closed. This one is the closed figure, and it is due to that its initial and final are not distinct, and this is why it is known as closed figure. Hope you have to enjoy this session, and I have just described 2D figure, 3D figure, open figure, closed figure, rectilinear figure, and curved figure. And in next one I will discuss some more topics. Hope you have to enjoy. Keep watching the one of the finest YouTube channel, MGSS YouTube channel. Thank you very much.